You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. What you resist persists. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. I must also have a dark side if I am to be whole. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Shame is a soul-eating emotion. Even a happy life cannot be without a measure of darkness, and the word happy would lose its meaning if it were not balanced by sadness. Wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration of the contraries. To ask the right question is already half the solution of a problem. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, in order to avoid facing their own soul. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. Everyone you meet knows something you don't know but need to know. Learn from them. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own souls. Normality is a fine ideal for those who have no imagination. Wisdom accepts that all things have two sides. The creation of something new is not accomplished by the intellect but by the play instinct acting from inner necessity. The creative mind plays with the objects it loves. Free will is the ability to do gladly that which I must do. The ability to ask questions is the greatest resource in learning the truth. We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. Mistakes are, after all, the foundations of truth, and if a man does not know what a thing is, it is at least an increase in knowledge if he knows what it is not. In every adult there lurks a child, an eternal child, something that is always becoming, is never completed, and calls for unceasing care, attention. and education, that is the part of the personality which wants to develop and become whole. The difference between a good life and a bad life is how well you walk through the fire. The greatest potential for growth and self-realization exists in the second half of life. Real work is completed in silence and strikes a chord in the minds of only a very few. To confront a person with their own shadow is to show them their own light. I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. Perhaps I myself am the enemy who needs to be loved. Man cannot stand a meaningless life. We cannot live the afternoon of life according to the program of life's morning. For what in the morning was true will in evening become a lie. That which you do not bring to consciousness comes to you as your fate, that which you do bring to consciousness. Whether it was what you thought you wanted or not, is your destiny. Knowledge rests not upon truth alone, but upon error also. The healthy man does not torture others, generally. It is the tortured who turn into torturers. We need more understanding of human nature, because the only real danger that exists is man himself. Midlife is the time to let go of an over-dominant ego and to contemplate the deeper significance of human existence. We deem those happy who from the experience of life have learnt to bear its ills without being overcome by them. If a man knows more than others, he becomes lonely. How can I be substantial if I do not cast a shadow? I must have a dark side also if I am to be whole. I would rather be whole than good. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. To be normal is the ultimate aim of the unsuccessful. Conflict exists strictly as an opportunity to raise our consciousness. Dreams are the guiding words of the soul. The descent into the depths always seems to precede the ascent. The reason for evil in the world is that people are not able to tell their stories. The right way to wholeness is made up of fateful detours and wrong turnings. Simple things are always the most difficult. But if you have nothing at all to create, then perhaps you create yourself? Life is crazy and meaningful at once. Our unconscious is the key to our life's pursuits. One finds one's destiny on the path one takes to avoid it. Sometimes you have to do something unforgivable just to be able to go on living. Dawn is born at midnight. What we lack is intensity of life. A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them. Trust that which gives you meaning and accept it as your guide. The greater the tension, the greater is the potential. I don't aspire to be a good man. I aspire to be a whole man. We discover ourselves through others. There can be no transforming of darkness into light and of apathy into movement without emotion. Every human life contains a potential. If that potential is not fulfilled, then that life was wasted. Follow that will and that way which experience confirms to be your own. When goals go, meaning goes. When meaning goes, purpose goes. When purpose goes, life goes dead on our hands. Neurosis is an inner cleavage, the state of being at war with oneself. It is only our deeds that reveal who we are. The world hangs on a thin thread, and that is the psyche of man. Commendation heals, condemnation destroys. It is a fact that cannot be denied. The wickedness of others becomes our own wickedness because it kindles something evil in our own hearts. He who looks without dreams. He who looks within awakes. A man's hatred is always concentrated upon that which makes him conscious of his bad qualities. It is sad but unfortunately true that man learns nothing from history.